going, folks? Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, I thought we would talk about my new Fender Tone Master Pro. I made some changes to my rig, and I thought I'd share it with you and bring you along for the journey. I've had it about 2 weeks so far. I thought I'd let you hear some of the sounds I built so far and talk about maybe why I made the decision to get this one over some of the other ones, and so forth. As always, thank you so much for all your support. Any help you can give me by subscribing, liking, and commenting is greatly appreciated. It all helps the channel grow. So at the beginning of the new year, oftentimes I'll change up the gear that I plan on using the coming year for whatever I have going on. I'm not a gear whore. I don't keep gear. I buy and sell it all the time. I don't want to have a room full of amps. I don't want to have a room full of guitars. I don't like any of that stuff. I have an anti-clutter thing going on. So in this beginning of this year, I decided that I wasn't going to be playing many gigs this year, taking a little break from the band business. So that kind of changes the gear that I want to focus on using this year, doing a lot of recording and that sort of thing. So that's what I wanted to focus on. So I've been waiting for whatever I thought the next new modeler would be to get in on that and see what it was. So I sold a ton of stuff so I could buy this Fender Tone Master Pro. I bought it. It's not sponsored. No one gave it to me. I bought that and the Mission expression pedal that has the toe button on it so you can use it like a regular wah. And sold a bunch of stuff. So I'm kind of going in full on the Fender Tone Master Pro. Now, why did I choose that over other ones? I was in early on the Line 6 Helix, and I decided that after a while it wasn't for me, and I sold it and went on to other stuff. And I thought, man, I should have stuck with that because they kept doing all these updates. Who would have thought that's what it was? At the time, you didn't see companies do that. They would just put out a new modeler, and whatever you had was now obsolete. But they kept adding stuff to it, and I thought, man, I should have kept that Line 6 Helix. That would be really fun. So when I was looking this time, and I've been looking and shopping for quite a while, listening to sound samples and trying to decide what I want to do. I was waiting to see if anything was going to come out at NAMM this year. And I just listened to a ton of sound samples of the Quad Cortex and the Axe Effects and the Helix and all of those, the Kempers. And I decided, you know, obviously you can't tell for sure on a YouTube video what anything sounds like. But on the ones that I heard, I really liked the sound of the Tone Master Pro. I thought it sounded more amp-like. Some of the other ones sounded more like a CD to me. And this sounded more like an amp when I heard people playing it. So if that means anything to you, I don't know. Does that even make any sense? So I just looked a little further into it. I love the sound samples. And then I just love the interface and everything that comes with it. It's beautiful. The graphics are beautiful. It's super easy to use. And it sounds fantastic. So I decided to go all in on the Tone Master Pro. And so far, 2 weeks in, I'm very happy with it. It's a blast to play. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm also kind of hoping that, you know, gambling, I guess, is that the Tone Master is going to be like the Helix and that this piece of hardware will be around for 5 or 10 years. And they'll keep updating with new models and new amps and updates and stuff like that in it and have it continue to grow. This is the young man on the block. Really, for a lot of this, you know, big pedal board kind of stuff. So I'm hoping they keep doing that. It looks like in the last 4 years they've had, you know, 4 or 5 updates with new stuff in it, some bug fixes, some new amps and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that that is going to be fun, and I hope they continue to do that because that was a really big selling point for me, was knowing that they're going to support it for years in the future and keep offering updates on this similar, you know, simple piece of hardware. So without having to buy another piece of hardware, get new amp models and that sort of thing. So that's why I dove in on that one, and so far I've been tickled. I've had, if you've watched my channel, I've had tons of modeling stuff since the very first pod, and even before that with Rockmans and stuff like that. So I'm mainly going to be using it for, you know, just playing guitar, you know, for fun stuff, but I wanted to have something I can use as an audio interface to record and so forth. The little clip in the beginning of this is just recorded directly into my computer, playing over some tracks just on one patch. You know, and it records great, sounds awesome. I just messed with that yesterday. So like I said, I've had it about 2 weeks. I've built a few sounds so far, and they'll continue to be tweaked because I'm still, every time I sit down with it and start messing around, I change, you know, something else out. There's a lot of amps and stuff. You know, people will say, well, there's not as many amps and stuff as in the you know, the Axe effects or something. That's true, but the Axe effects and the Helix have been around. The Helix has been for 10 years. They've been updating that. So there's not as many amps in there, but the amps that are in there sound fantastic. I'm just running right now into 2 PA speakers directly out of the Fender Tone Master Pro into my 2 Alto TX312s. And I'm doing something a little different this time. I'm building my sounds around a PA speaker. That seems so obvious, right? I guess I'm an idiot. I always built my sound in headphones and then would try and port it live into making it work with a PA. And it ends up being like an extra step. So this time I thought, you know, I'm going to build it around PA speakers. And then if I need to tweak it to record, I'll do that, do some separate patches for recording. But I messed with it a little yesterday, and I haven't really had to change anything for the recording thing. They sound really good, as is across both things. So I'll play a little bit so you can hear the sounds I've built so far, and have it work there. That seems so obvious, doesn't it? Why wouldn't you build it in the PA speakers that you're going to use? But whatever. Now I may look in. I think I'm going to save up and see if I can get Fender's little FR10. Mainly for form factor. I was really thinking, oh, I'm going to build a bunch of stereo sounds. That'd be cool. And then I started messing with the stereo sounds, and they are cool. It's something neat about sitting in the middle of it and having this stereo sound surround you with choruses and delays and all this cool stuff, reverbs. And I might still build some patches like that. But then I just decided, you know what, if I use this live or if I record with it, I'm probably going to be using it mono anyway. So I might as well build my patches, at least my initial ones, mono. And then when I go plug into a PA live or something like that, I wouldn't run a stereo signal live for the obvious reasons. But it would be mono anyway. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But it sounds good, but I think the form factor of that little FR10 would be cool. They sound good from what I hear online, from what you can tell online. But really, I want to have... It's kind of a pain when you have PA speakers. I just have them sitting on the floor. I don't know if you can see them behind me or not. You can tell right there. But I have the switch is on the back bottom and the volume knob's on the back, so you can't see it. You know, so to turn them on, that sounds stupid, doesn't it? But it's a hassle to turn them on and get them set up. So I thought it would be fun to have just something that looks like a little amp with a switch right on it. You can turn it on. The EQ's right on top, has built-in EQ, which would be cool. But I'm a ways off from that. Maybe when I get that, I'll share that with you. But for now, I'm happy with the PA speakers and headphones, depending what I'm doing. I use these AKGs. These are awesome. I don't know if you guys ever had these headphones. I've had these for years. They're the K240s, and they are fantastic. For this modeling stuff. They just sound, or recording or anything, they just sound fantastic. I've had tons of other headphones, and I've had those for a bunch of years. I couldn't even tell you how many years now. But they sound fantastic with this modeling stuff. So let's jump into some sounds here, see what we got. So I just got my Strat here going direct into that. This is my first little sound I built. My same deal, man. I'm like a 3-sound kind of guy, generally speaking, with some pedals on it. So this is a Clean Deluxe. Their model of the Clean Deluxe reverb. And this is just the reverb that's built in the amp model. And a little delay. And they have a 1-knob compressor built in here, which is perfect for an idiot like me that struggles with compression, because it does make it, gives it a little fatness, but it doesn't have all those settings, you know, that screw me up every time, where I can start to hear it. Like, I can't really hear that there's compression on that. That's bridge pickup. So I just have it in foot switch mode right here now. So I'm just going to turn on the chorus, and this gives us chorus and delay. And I'm using the triple chorus pedal, and man, that sounds good. I don't know what it sounds like in YouTube land, but sitting right in front of these speakers, beautiful. And then I have a super drive, which is, I'm guessing like an SD1 There is a printout of all of the models, like what they're supposed to be, but I haven't really looked at that yet. I did read the manual after I played with it for a bunch of days. You really don't need a manual. There's some deep editing in this, but the user interface on this is so brilliantly laid out. Of any of the models I've used, it is so simple to navigate and kind of figure out what you're doing. I've had to look a couple things up. Assigning the expression pedal I had to look up because I couldn't figure out how to make that work right just on my own. But once I did, I'm like, oh, that's so simple. That it doesn't, I guess sometimes things are so simple we're trying to make them complicated. I had to look that up. What else did I have? See, I had to look something else up too. Can't remember. If it comes back to me, I'll say. But I've had to look 2 things up so far to kind of figure out how to do it appropriately. Here's the Super Drive, which I just have set as like a grit. And then I have a pitch shifter, just like always. And I just have it set to work like an octave pedal, like an octave pedal. Tracks really well. A lot of times if you play that fast stuff with like even a Boss octave pedal, it just it can't track fast enough. It gets glitchy, but man, listen to that. It's all over. Let's put that on with a little fuzz. And that is basically my clean amp setup. Then the other sound I've built is a Plexi, and if I can find where that's at. Oh, it's up on top, sorry. So this is a Plexi that I have set up, and I think this sounds killer. Same little compressor, and I have a couple, all of these I have a volume and a wah on too, by the way. But so I have a couple effects in this one. The first one is the flanger, which I think this sounds really cool. This is a great sounding flange. then, you know, you need a little phaser too. I will say this, the sounds, the effects in this are very analog sounding. And again, if you haven't used a bunch of modelers, maybe you won't know what I'm talking about. But sometimes when you get into multi-effects units in general, or some of the modeling stuff, the pedals sometimes have a digital sound. They're a little high-endy kind of thing. These sound real creamy and juicy. Like an old analog pedal. They sound really good. They did a really nice job on this thing. Alright, the next one I'm going to have is I have a third sound built around a Mesa Mark II, and I think that's what it is. And I have it set for, I actually did it for my humbucker semi-hollow, my Ibanez, because the pickups in that are hotter than my Fender guitars. And we're kind of overdriving the Deluxe as it would a real amp, and giving a little bit of grit on it, and I just wanted squeaky clean. And this amp has plenty of headroom for squeaky clean. So it's the same setup as my Deluxe setting, but it just has a different amp. Works really great for like that jazz fat. Great sounds. Can't complain one bit. So that's my impressions after 2 weeks. I haven't found a negative yet. I'm sure I will, but I haven't yet. And again, this is just, you know, I wanted to learn how to use this thing a little bit and get I'm still in the honeymoon phase, okay, but I wanted to kind of get into that so it's not like this is the greatest thing ever. But so far, I think it is the greatest thing ever. It's been kind of cool for me so far. So I'm going to continue to muck with it. I'll do some more videos if you guys are interested in my progress as I learn this pedal a little more and do some more stuff with it. I have some ideas for doing some cool things with it, so we'll see what happens. So as always, thanks so much for checking my videos out, and you guys have a great day.